It's been way too long since I've done a versus video, and that's a shame because I really enjoy making these videos, and I know you guys enjoy coming into the video pissed off because you read the title. This is 6 reasons why a shotgun is better than an AR-15. If you've been here before, you know that I'm about to turn out another video called 6 reasons why the AR-15 is better than the shotgun, but it's always fun to lead in with the controversial choice first. And there really shouldn't be a controversy because they're both excellent platforms. Unfortunately, shotguns tend to be favored by FUD-lore spewing boomers and closet anti-gunners, while the anti-shotgun crowd typically lanklet beta male pussies who would get a zygomatic fracture after a tube of anything bigger than number 6. We're going to tackle the pros and cons of each in these 2 videos. The shotgun, although absolutely in a renaissance right now, with credit to Mossberg and Beretta for introducing just fucking outstanding shotguns in the past 5 years, the shotgun let its dominance lapse over the past few decades for a number of reasons. Off the top of my head, shotguns didn't do so hot in the 1986 Miami FBI shootout or the 1997 North Hollywood bank heist. They just couldn't keep up with the rifle in the urban arena. AR-15 started to displace shotguns in squad cars. Also, somewhat affordable tactical semi-automatic shotguns, non-existent 10 or 15 years ago. I had a Remington 1187 Police. It was okay, but if you wanted something utterly reliable 10, 15, 20 years ago, you were going to have to drop Benelli bucks. And even then, you weren't going to get close in terms of modularity on par with the AR-15 even 20 years ago. Obviously, there are plenty of other reasons why you would pick the AR-15 over the shotgun, but we're going to tackle that in a different video. Ultimately, it's a use case thing. If I'm going dove hunting, I'm probably not bringing an AR-15. If I'm going out on a Saturday to invade another country because some nutjob despot's in control, that sweet, sweet crude, I'm probably bringing an AR-15. So why is the shotgun better? Let's start with a layup. Very appealing, touch of FUD lore. I'm talking pure, unadulterated power.
Oh my God.
Okay. End of demo.
Like my Uncle Clint says, pistols put holes in people, rifles put holes through people, shotguns, right load, right range. Take a chunk of shit off your opponent, put it on the floor. But let's look at a study by Greg Ellifritz. He pulled data from 1,800 police shootings and found that most pistol calibers would lead to one-shot stops about 50% of the time. Rifles, 60%. But the mighty 12 bore a whopping 86%. Immediate one-shot incapacitation, substantially higher than handguns or rifles. Many people have actually disputed the results of this study. It was very controversial. But really the debate focuses on comparative handgun caliber performance. I'm not aware of anyone challenging the results or the efficacy of shotguns. And for good reason. Shotguns deliver massive kinetic energy compared to the AR-15. For example, a 12-gauge slug can deliver over 2,800 foot-pounds of energy. That's over double that of a 5.56 round from an AR. Buckshot, same, buddy. Buckshot delivers less energy per individual pellet compared to a slug or a 5.56, but the combined energy of all the pellets in a standard double-aught buckload will absolutely buckfut you. A typical double-aught shotgun shell fires 9 pellets, each with about 200-300 foot-pounds of energy. Combined, you're reaching that same close to 3,000 foot-pounds number as a slug. Not to mention, the spread of energy over multiple projectiles increases the likelihood of hitting critical areas, making buckshot highly effective at close-range home defense. Finally, you can imagine the psychological trauma of getting slapped with a 12-bore. Like with buckshot, it's the ballistic equivalent of walking in on your dad pile driving your mom. You're just going to stop what you're doing, simply expire, or at least wish you did. Look, I'm not saying that an AR or an AK or 300 Blackout isn't going to be less lethal than a shotgun round inside of 100 yards or inside of your house. I'm just saying that shotgun rounds are absolutely devastating, generate over twice the energy of the AR-15. Number 2, shot spread. Some FUD lore here as well, but not as much as you think. As mentioned, buckshot dispersion can increase the likelihood of hitting vital organs, but it's also much more forgiving than a rifle for making hits on target, generally. While there's a famous myth that shotguns will cause a massive amount of spread, probably put out there by John Woo's portrayal of shotguns, like in this scene from Hard Boiled. And by the way, I'll take a moment, we'll enjoy this scene, and I'll say that while there are a startling number of annoying dumb gun inaccuracies in Hollywood, like cocking the hammer of a Glock, or racking a shotgun over and over and over without shooting it or loading it, I will never, ever, ever be upset about a John Woo or Robert Rodriguez shotgun defying the very laws of physics. But to be fair, there is some truth to it. As mentioned, shotguns are devastating in terms of energy delivery, but spread can also be used effectively. Going back to Ellifritz, he patterned buck out of a 14-inch barrel shotgun, a very realistic inside the home distance, and he found that the brand and the loading of buck you choose make a massive difference. At 30 feet, he had patterns tighter than 3 inches with buckshot and looser than your mom in Cancun, a whopping, very forgiving 10 inches in diameter at just 30 feet. So choose your own adventure. Or maybe even load up a variety pack of buckshot if you really want to spice up your next home intrusion. It's this versatility that's such a huge asset for the shotgun. And that's number 3. The shotgun is versatile. You want tight groups, you get tight groups. You want James Bond license to kill spread, change ammo. Similarly, you want to go hunting for bird, birdshot. You want to go hunting for buck, buckshot. You want to go hunting for cougars, backshot. Door-to-door salesman, dragon's breath. Less lethal, beanbags, rubber balls. Great for when the neighborhood kids get too close to my 911. Flares, flechettes, anything on Tough Fledermouse's channel. It's dizzying, a dizzying array. A smorgasbord, if you will. You can also swap rounds on the fly. If you have a target further away or if you're a door breacher, you can hot swap a slug in seconds. Funny feature a lot of people aren't aware of, but in European tactical semi-autos like the Beretta 1301, you have to hit the shell release lever to release a shell from your mag tube when you cycle the action without firing the gun. So what does that mean exactly? It means that if you're racking the action manually, the shell that's already in the chamber gets kicked out and you can then load a slug right into its pretty little mouth without worrying about another shell trying to wrestle its way into the action from the mag tube. Most American shotguns actually lack this feature. Pump shotguns especially versatile. Pump shotguns don't give a shit. Light birdshot, heavy buckshot, short shells, even old paper shells. It'll cycle just about anything as long as it's 12 gauge. The shotgun is versatile. Number 4, and I think many of you will agree, this might be the biggest advantage that the shotgun has over the AR-15 in the Sue Happy US of A. Legal reasons. In a previous video on my personal channel, I discussed the critical differences in how juries perceive the use of different firearms in self-defense scenarios. An extensive 2009 mock jury study by Dr. Glenn Meyer revealed that homeowners using an AR-15 were convicted much more frequently and faced significantly longer prison sentences versus a shotgun. Shotguns were generally better perceived by a jury than the AR-15, which was seen as an evil gun that generated a more significant negative response from jurors versus a shotgun. This data suggests that in a legal context, using a shotgun for home defense may result in more favorable outcomes compared to an AR-15, both in terms of jury perception and possible sentencing. Also remember that shotguns have the ability to fire non-lethal rounds, like beanbags, rubber bullets, or even pepper spray rounds on the fly. That gives you the ability to respond to threats with a less lethal option if the situation calls for it. To a lesser extent, shotguns are legal in all 50 states. So if you live in an air quotes assault weapons banned state, at least you have a viable, effective option with a shotgun. I'd blow my wad on a fully tricked out 1301, a Mossberg 940, or the 590A1 Beachmaster from Mossberg and Van Kamp maybe. That's if I lived in a jurisdiction where I couldn't have like an AR or anything cool like that. I'm just gonna get the best shotgun I can get. Number 5, reliability, durability, simplicity. This more or less belongs to the pump shotgun, but pump guns are the reliability rock stars of the long gun world. You've got a manual system where the operator does all the work. Rack, shoot, repeat. There's no uppity gas system to jam up or the need for silly cleaning or maintenance or lubrication. As long as your little arms are still pumping, this shotty's still dumping. Pump action shotguns like the Winchester Model 1897 proved themselves over a century of hard use. The Model 1897 was the go-to for taking down drugged up local OPFOR in the Spanish-American War around the turn of the 19th century, and then served with GIs in the mud and the trenches during World War I, earning the nickname the trench gun, which the Germans sought to have banned. Side note, imagine being so effective at killing that the enemy begs you to stop doing it during war. Through World War II and even 80 years later in Vietnam, 1897 trench guns still being used effectively and reliably. You know what didn't do so well in Vietnam? The M16, which was notorious, at least in the early stages of the war, for jamming up at the absolute worst times. The Remington 870 being used, the Winchester Model 12, the Ithaca 37 used by the Navy SEALs in Vietnam, even the 1897 all served reliably in the rain. They didn't care about mud. They didn't need a TB12 diet of ammo to function. Don't get me wrong, modern AR-15s are much better than their Vietnam-era cousins. They're lighter, they're more accurate, they're more reliable than the first-gen guns of the 60s, but they still rely on a gas system and a buffer tube and buffer spring to cycle the bolt back into action. They need to be adequately lubed and cleaned. The shotgun will take it dirtier than a Walmart toilet seat. Finally, number 6, shotguns, especially pumps, offer incredible value at a fraction of the cost of even the most bare bones budget AR-15. You can find shitty but mostly functional Turkish pump shotguns for as little as $100. Even brand new Mossberg Maverick 88s, one of the most popular budget pump shotguns on the market, they only run about $200. It's essentially a stripped down Mossberg 500, which has been a reliable staple for home defense and law enforcement for decades, and it survived the most brutal shotgun burn down in TFBTV history. 500 rounds in just an hour and 15 minutes. For $200, you're getting a shotgun durable, reliable, and ready to go out of the box. Accessories are nice, but you don't need anything. Now let's compare that to the AR-15. Sure, you can get a bare bones budget AR for a little over $400 these days, but without even questioning whether or not you're actually getting something on par with the Maverick 88 in terms of quality, that's just the starting point. Most budget AR-15s will need at least iron sights or an optic, since many will just come with a flat top receiver, so you're in for another several $100s before you even get home. But even let's say you get an A2 style that has functioning irons, it's still going to be 2x the price of the Mav, and maybe lesser quality, lesser reliability. For someone on a tight budget, pump action shotgun like the Maverick 88 is hard to beat, and it's good to go from the jump. What do you guys think? Agree, disagree? Tell me what you think in the comments. Are you coming around to the shotgun? You still an AR-15 guy? Again, tell me what you think below. Give me some good reasons the AR is better than a shotgun. Maybe I'll include it in the next video. Or maybe there's some really cool shotgun benefits that I missed in this video that you'd like to bring to my attention. I would like to bring to your attention Ventura Munitions, best ammo store online, and Top Gun Supply, your online shooting sports superstore. These guys have been sponsors of mine for years. Thank you so much to them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.